Standing By. The Terry and Ted podcast is brought to you by the UPS Store Canada. Now with over 400 locations across Canada.
Hi there, and welcome to the Standing By podcast for Wednesday, December the 3rd, 2025. Thanks for downloading the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, hi! There you go. I'm Terry DeMonte. That's Ted Bird over there. Hi, Ted.
How are you now?
I'm just doing fine and dandy. You put Vaseline in your nose? It's cold. I get it.
Yeah, my apartment is very warm, and I can't control the heat.
Okay.
And so my nose gets dry.
Yeah.
So I put Vaseline in there to
That's fun.
To undry it. Yeah, good times.
Well, it works, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, it works for a day, and then you have to reapply.
Yeah, gotcha.
Want to see?
No, I'm good. Want to say thank you to our title sponsor, the good people at the UPS Store Canada. I visited a new location last week.
Oh?
The bagels you brought me were whisked to Toronto, actually
Nice.
to Mimico. I know it's Mimico. To my pal Blair and his wife Karen. Blair, by the way, is the voice of the podcast. When you hear the intro and the extra to the podcast, that's Blair.
That's Blair Bartram.
Anyway, I sent some bagels as a thank you because we visited him a couple of weekends ago. So I went to see Saul at the St. Sever location of the UPS store. And just like all the UPS stores you go into, warm welcome and everything you need. When I walked in the door, the first thing I saw was the mailboxes you can rent. To the right, to the left, packing peanuts, envelopes, packing tape, boxes. You know, you never think of the UPS store when you're looking to move some stuff and you need some boxes. And I know everybody goes to the grocery store and tries to get, boxes from the liquor store, whatever. But if you're moving stuff that's fragile and you need a good and decent box that's not expensive, the UPS store can handle that for you. They overnighted my bagels. The bagels arrived in Mimico the next morning without any kind of fuss or muss. You can track your shipments, which is important at this time of the year. And there's a 30% discount on ground shipping. While the post office tries to figure out what they're doing, UPS has stepped in and stepped up and are offering a 30% discount on ground shipping. I know I just said that, but I thought I would say it twice. There are over 400 locations all around the country, northwest, southeast. If you're listening to this, I guarantee you there's a location near you. Go to the upsstore.ca.
Is Saul the Jewish community in St. Sever?
I think there's a fair-sized Jewish community.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. Saul couldn't have been nicer. We had a nice chinwag about all this and that. And, in St. Sever, normally I lead with my my excellent French. And I led with my excellent French, and Saul led with his French. And then we realized, hey, we're both Anglophones. We're going to have this conversation in English.
You didn't have the Mexican-French-Quebec standoff?
We did not.
I think I've told you about Wasim El Munzer, the comedian, and his bit about that.
Yeah, it's great. It's terrific.
Donnez-moi 10 Timbits, s'il vous plaît. Quelle sorte de Timbits? Quel sauveur? I went to see the Jewish community in El Perot, a.k.a. Jason Liverman, at his UPS store this week because I wanted to get a Christmas card to my daughter Lauren in Paris, and I did not want to take any chances with the post office.
Right.
So I sent it via UPS store.
Nicely done.
Yeah.
Very good. Like I said, go to the upsstore.ca. You'll find a location near you. This week, we do have a guest, and normally we would welcome that guest at the beginning of the podcast. However, that guest is caught in traffic. And because we're just sitting here with our thumbs in our nose, we thought we'd get the podcast started and take care of some business we were going to take care of after John left. Our guest, by the way, is John Bartlett from Hockey Night in Canada. So we're looking forward to that. A couple of things I wanted to mention on social media this past week. Wow, do people ever have strong feelings about the train? I posted last week about my my Via Rail ride and how one way was good and the way home was really not good. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, the post, people came at me like, what's wrong with you? And people accused me of being a whiner. And all I wanted to do was say, hey, I haven't been on the train for 25 years.
And this was my experience.
Yeah. And people came after me, and I thought,
Yeah, well, welcome to social media.
yeah, I know. I should have known better. But it's unbelievable how passionate people either think the train is a complete pack of shit, or they absolutely love it and wanted to know what was wrong with me, or what happened, what was the catastrophe. It wasn't a catastrophe. I just didn't have a good experience on the way home.
I thought your review was quite balanced and honest. What's wrong with that?
Well, I'm some kind of crazy person, I get. I thought I would mention it because I don't know why I was taken back, but man, were people ever passionate about my experience on Via Rail. I also wanted to mention the Nordique sweaters. I think that's a poke in the eye.
Do you?
I do. I don't like it at all. I thought the National Hockey League, it's a cash grab.
Well, that's exactly what it is. I was going to say it's.
And you know what? It's a stick in the spokes to the people who have been begging for hockey in Quebec City.
Well, they're not going to get another team
for a long, long time.
That's not going to happen.
No, I know that. As long as Gary Bettman's there, it's not going to happen. I think there's a chance because Gary Bettman mused about retiring this week. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah. Apparently, there's a move now. Not a move, but he's given signal that they can begin to hunt for a successor.
Yeah, I just don't think the money is there in Quebec City.
You don't?
It's just not a big enough city to support a National Hockey League franchise. And above and beyond that, as a unilingual francophone city, it's not going to be able to attract big stars. Look what happened with Eric Lindros when he came into the league. Quebec drafted him, and he refused to go. And at the time, everybody said, fuck Lindros, that little 18-year-old arrogant prick.
Yeah.
He was just making what I thought was a good business decision, a good career decision.
Right.
He could have gone, I suppose, and played his first few seasons and then cashed in. But I mean, that's the problem you run into with Quebec City as a base for a National Hockey League franchise.
Disagree. I think people will come from far and wide in Quebec. This is not a fair comparison, but it's what happens with the Rough Riders in Saskatchewan. The team plays in Regina, and people come from far north in Saskatchewan, far south in Saskatchewan. They come from all over. There are season ticket holders who are in Saskatoon and hold season tickets, for the Rough Riders, and that requires a 3-hour drive for them.
But that's the CFL, and we're not talking the kind of money we're talking.
What about the arena?
The
the arena that's in place that never gets used, and when they have an event there, it always gets packed.
I don't know.
Anyway, put the Nordique sweaters away.
They're nice sweaters, though.
I know, but it's not the Nordiques.
I understand.
It's like the
Listen, they're just cashing in on nostalgia.
Yeah. It's like the Nationals wearing Expos sweaters. You're not the Expos.
Yeah, and they did the same thing with the Hartford Whalers.
Yeah.
Who are now the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah.
There was actually a game earlier this season where Denver or Colorado played Carolina, and the Avalanche wore the Nordique sweaters, and the Hurricanes wore the Hartford Whalers sweaters. And it was a nice, like I say, it's nice nostalgia, and they sell those jerseys for probably $300 a piece.
Yeah.
So they're cashing in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't offended by it. I didn't give it much thought one way or the other.
I'm not offended. I felt, if you were a Nordique fan or you were raised in that era, you're like, what are you doing that to me for? And you're probably right. It'll be,
I think it's a money thing, or else there would be a team there. They never would have left.
Got you. Okay, let's take care of some of the stuff that we normally take care of at the end of the podcast. I thought we would do at the beginning of the podcast while we await the arrival of our guest. How's about that?
Sure.
You think that's okay?
I do.
All right. Couple of things. I just got a note from our good friend Lisa Lee. Bat Out of Hell, the musical, which is a really, really popular, I don't want to say Broadway play, but it's a musical. It's an extravaganza, I guess it's a Broadway
Bat
play.
Out of Hell is in the Meatloaf thing?
Yeah, it's an onstage musical, and it's coming to Montreal. It was just announced today. I just got a note from her. Bat Out of Hell, excuse me. Bat Out of Hell will be here April 1st for one night only, and the tickets go on sale this Friday, December the 5th. Okay, so if you're listening, there you go. Thank you, Mano. Mano's put it up if you're watching on YouTube. There's one Montreal date. It is the 1st of April. Tickets on sale as of December the 5th. We're recording this on December the 2nd, so it's this coming Friday. I got a note from Joanne Watts, who asked me if we could plug their fundraiser. Could you guys talk about our Christmas fundraiser benefiting the 128 residents of CHSLD Bayview? It's a long-term facility in Point Claire. They're having an event this coming Saturday, December the 6th, from 2 to 5. 100% of the proceeds go to the Bayview Auxiliary, and they spend the money on activities for the residents. So I thought that was a really nice event. And what it is Santa is taking time from his very busy schedule. It's an outdoor celebration from 2 to 5. You can get a photo with Santa Claus, and it's at 27 Lakeshore in Point Claire. A note, they only accept cash for the event. Okay?
He is tireless, that fat bastard.
I'm telling you, especially in December, it's quite busy, don't you know?
Yeah.
And there is one other story I promised I would mention. Nancy sent me a note. I don't know if you saw this, about Homer the Lost Dog. This is kind of it's not kind of, it's a sad story. Nancy and her family are desperate to find Homer. The story went in the Gazette. They think the dog, who has serious health issues, may have been abducted in the area of St. Kevin and Victoria on November the 12th. Homer's in trouble without his medication. There's a possibility that there's an extortion play going on. If you have any information about that story, they would like you to call Dave. The phone number is in the Gazette story if you go online. And I also wanted to mention thank yous to the people who sent us mail this week. There was, as I said to you when we arrived today, the mailbag was very busy this week.
We got a lot.
So I want to say thanks to, I made a list. Because my printer at home is like, I gave up.
Are you going to get a new one?
Probably.
Yeah.
You get a new one every couple of months. It's just ridiculous. Thanks to Lynn Wallace, Claude Gagnon, Ian Logan, James Wilson sent a nice note on handshakes. Joanne Berg, Tim Mayhew, Mary Alba, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. James Banks.
James
Banks. Sean, thanks for letting it go. Sean Malia.
I let Spencer go earlier, so
you only get one.
Yeah, you get one pass.
It was a hallmark of the morning show when we worked together. I would say, "Give me outing."
Yeah, and I would pounce like a rabid dog.
We read all the email. We answer most of the email, and we really appreciate the email. We get a lot of feedback from you, and we do appreciate it. We really do a lot. TerryandTedPodcast.com. That's the website. If you go there, you'll be able to see the link to the YouTube channel, and you'll see a place where you can just click and send us a note. And like I said, we check it on a daily or semi-daily basis. I know Ted usually gets to it before I do, and he answers some and I answer some. And I was going to say we ignore the nasty ones, but there haven't been any nasty ones.
No. The nasty is usually in the Facebook or Instagram comments, and we just delete those.
Yeah, and we get
or I thank them for taking time out from their busy masturbating schedule to contribute to the conversation.
Who do we owe that? That was whose line was that?
Mine.
Was that yours?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we use that.
Matt Kundle likes that.
Didn't you answer that? Didn't you actually email that to somebody when we were working on the radio?
Probably, yeah.
So.
Yeah. I use it more liberally now because I don't have to answer to corporate bosses.
What did I miss? Hang on. Okay. No, that's okay.
You know what we should do?
What's that?
Why don't we play Sugar Sammy's clip?
Yes.
While we're waiting for our guest.
Sugar Sammy is a proud sponsor of the podcast, and Ted has been in conversation with him on email because Sammy is literally touring the world.
He's in London, England this week. He's got 4 shows in London before he comes back to Montreal and Quebec City for a series of shows in late January, some English only, some bilingual. And he sent me a clip of a show he did in Manchester, England. I believe it was last week. And it was, I'm not sure if it was an Indian-specific show, as in East Indian, which is Sammy's ethnic heritage, or if the crowd was just overwhelmingly of Indian heritage. Anyway, he had a lot of fun doing crowd play in Manchester. And all you need to know going into this is that talak means divorce.
Okay.
Can't get it to play?
Standing by.
Here we go.
There we go.
Still standing by.
One moment, please. Remember that?
I do.
From television? They run into trouble and they put up that slide.
And then interlude music.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right. Standing by. Here we go.
Well, we tried, didn't we?
Do you want to sing a song, Ted?
No. No, but what I can tell you is go to sugarsammy.com for tickets. He also has added San Diego to his American tour in winter and early spring. So it's now a 20-city U.S. tour. And that's going to include dates in Florida. If you're a snowbird, he's going to be in Miami, Orlando, and Tampa. So if you don't see him in Montreal or Quebec City in late January, you can see him in early February at your fabulous Florida estate.
Jessica and I actually toyed with the idea of going over to London to see him.
Is that right?
Yeah, because we love England at Christmas. England at Christmas is really special. And I just noticed he's now in London. As we're recording this, he'll be in London tonight. And I think he's doing 3 shows in London.
How do you find him in a club setting versus a theater setting?
Well, listen,
I mean, he's good in both, I know.
Yeah.
Is it a different kind of show in a club setting?
Well,
because the club setting's more intimate.
Yeah, it's interesting. When we saw him in San Francisco, and you see Sammy in San Francisco with a crowd who isn't familiar with him, it takes with him, it takes a minute.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a minute or two. And when they get his rhythm and understand his humor, the place catches fire. And it's really a lot of fun. Because in a club, he's like right there looking right at you. Yeah. And he turns a theater crowd into a club. You know, we've seen him at the Place de Collis there, where he always plays.
Down at the corner of Saint-Cyboire and Simonac.
You know, down near UQAM.
Yeah, Saint-Pierre-Mercure.
Yeah, not a lot of Canadian flags in that neighborhood.
No.
And when he's in that setting, he kind of makes it feel like a club setting. So if you haven't,
he's so endearing and likable.
God. Yeah, We'll have to apologize to Sammy.
Sorry, Sam, we tried.
He really wanted you to see that.
Yeah.
I got one more thing I wanted to mention here that I was going to do at the end of the podcast, but we're still awaiting the arrival of John. I think this is really cool because this is a very Montreal thing. At the McCord Museum, pardon me, they're doing a new exhibition called On the Menu. Leslie Chesterman was kind of behind this. Apparently, she suggested this 10 years ago, and it took them a while to come around to it. It is a celebration of the food culture of Montreal. It's opened, and it runs until October of next year. It celebrates Montreal restaurant culture and some of the restaurants that are gone. And I want to go just so that I can celebrate some of the restaurants over the years that I'm sorry that have disappeared. Ben's. Les Mâts des Oliviers.
One of your favorites.
Remember the snack bar, Moe's, at the corner of Lambert Place?
Yeah, Casse-Croûte au Coin, where you could walk in and see any number of Montreal Canadians having a bite to eat after practice.
Remember the Texan?
I do.
Mimesso's?
Yes, sir.
Les Halles on Crescent. I never got to go there because when Les Halles was open, I didn't have any money.
Les Halles in the halls.
Yes.
Yeah, H-A-L-L-E-S.
Very famous
I think
Montreal
I might have gone there once and had Chateaubriand with our old producer, Tommy Butto.
Really?
Yeah.
Who picked
I don't
up
know
that
how
tab?
probably me. Or maybe we split it. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know how we ended up there, but we did.
L'Orchidée des Chines, remember that place?
No, sir.
There was my favorite restaurant, one of my favorite restaurants of all time in Montreal was called Portofino's.
That I remember.
Yeah, that was on Mountain. That was the place I tucked the tablecloth into my pants and pulled the tablecloth off after my 4th bottle of wine.
Thinking it was your shirt?
Yes. And at the same dinner, after I pulled the tablecloth off the table as I was going to the bathroom with the sugar bowl falling on the floor, which we tried to clean up, that was declined credit card. Remember the days of Excuse me, sir, there's a phone call for you. Do you remember those days?
No.
In the days when they had to call for authorization, if your bill was over a certain amount of money,
Right.
they would call Visa and they would get an authorization number on your credit card, and that would be approved.
And if it wasn't authorized, that's when you got the, excuse me, sir, there's a phone call for you?
It was either authorized or declined.
Okay.
So sometimes Visa or American Express would say, let me speak to the customer, and they would give you, like a lashing on the phone and say, I'll put this one through, but you better attend to your bill.
Mm-hmm.
And on this particular day, our credit cards were declined. I spilled the sugar bowl, tucked the tablecloth. I was with Blair, and we had been there for quite some time.
Other than that, it went well?
Yeah. Portofino's, great restaurant. And by the way, I did go back. They did let me go back. Anyway, the exhibition runs from November the 26th until October next year at the McCord Museum. If you're a fan of Montreal's history and a fan of Montreal restaurants, I think you're going to love it. Jess and I are going to go in the new year. Our guest has arrived. We'll get him settled. We'll be right back. Don't go away. We're back, and just as John is getting settled into his seat, we're going to thank a couple of our sponsors, starting with the folks at Robert Richer Jewelers, Ted.
I picked up my handmade Belgian waffles, Belgian chocolates, and Stroop waffle this week that Pierre brought back from his diamond buying trip to Antwerp.
I was going to say, that's not what they do there.
No. And those lasted, I think, 11 minutes.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, not quite as long as the box of Mun cookies last week. I also chatted with Pierre and Linda about lab-grown diamonds. Do you know about these?
I do not.
They're basically the same as diamonds that are mined out of the earth, but they're made in a lab.
Okay.
They have all the same, they're diamonds. They have all the same characteristics. They're just lab made, and the price point is a lot less. And right now, Robert Richer Jewelers has a new collection of gold and lab-grown diamond earrings and pendants from a Canadian supplier, everything under $1,000. The composition is the same. They're diamonds. They just didn't come out of the ground if you stand on ceremony. And Linda told me a lot of the younger crowd like these because they can get bigger diamonds for less money. It's big diamond bang for your buck. Linda also asked me if we could ask you to visit and subscribe to her YouTube channel, All Things Jewelry. It's a nice channel, and Linda's a lovely lady and a professional gemologist, and if you're interested in jewelry, she's got a lot to tell you. And if you're not, she's got a lot to teach you.
Yeah.
So check her out, All Things Jewelry on YouTube. Robert Richer Jewelers is at 309 Dorval Avenue in Dorval, just across from the Enchanted Forest, where there's always free parking.
Speaking of the Enchanted Forest, did you get to Playground this week?
Didn't go to Playground this week. They're celebrating their 15th anniversary this year.
Is that
They've
right?
been there since 2010. From relatively humble beginnings to now Canada's premier poker destination. They've got an anniversary poker series from December 4th to the 16th, $850,000 in guarantees, including a $400,000 main event guaranteed. You don't have to play with the big dogs, though. You can buy in at minimal cost at a cash table and eat free food and drink free drinks while you're playing poker. If you're not a card player, there are over 1,100 electronic gaming machines, including slots, blackjack, and roulette, and New Year's Eve celebration packages that include shows, dancing, and dinner at any one of Playground's 3 excellent restaurants. Take the full tour at playground.ca. Don't forget to register for your player's card at no cost. Pick it up on site for access to promotions and gifts that only come with the player's card. It's the strip without the trip on the 138 in South Shore, Ganawage, 20 minutes from downtown in the West Island. Visit them at playground.ca.
So I can register online and pick up the card in person?
Yes, at customer service. When you get there, it'll take you all of
2 seconds?
1 minute. Yep.
Okay. Introduce our guest, would you?
John Bartlett is one of the voices of Hockey Night in Canada and the former radio voice of the Montreal Canadiens, so he really needs no introduction, especially if you're a hockey fan. Hello, John.
Hey, boys. How are you?
Good, John. How does that, do you ever pinch yourself when somebody says John Bartlett from Hockey Night in Canada?
Every time.
You're a kid from Newmarket, Ontario. It's got to be, I mean, it must be something to think, wow, I'm on that team now.
Yeah. Every time. I think it's...
Never goes away?
Never goes away.
That's
never goes
cool.
away. And you know what? You hope it doesn't, right?
Yeah,
because
of course.
If it does, then you've lost sort of the magic of the show and the importance of the show and the history of the show.
Yeah.
So always a humbling and grateful experience.
Is it talked about much during production and stuff? Does the staff still reference the history of the broadcast?
I think so. I know I certainly do. I always like to sort of relate back. The way I look at it is it's sort of when you're in that chair and in that position on that show, you've got to respect the past of it, and now you're carrying the torch of those that carried it before. So I think it's really important to try and hold up to the standards that were set by those before you for all these years. It's not the longest running show in television history and sports television history for nothing, right?
Yeah.
So
Part of what I love about your story, John, is that you basically came up through the ranks to the NHL the way a player would.
yeah.
You started in junior doing
Yep.
play-by-play, then you did play-by-play in the American Hockey League, and then play-by-play in the NHL.
I can dial it back even further for you. I started in minor hockey. So the first game I ever did, which was 30 years ago, was a AAA minor hockey game.
Was it when someone didn't show up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Tell the story, John. Did somebody
I
say,
was-
hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I was the PA announcer for our local junior team in town, the 87s. And I had been asked to come one night for a AAA game to just do the music up in the box because they said, well, you know the building, you know what you're doing. We don't even need you to announce. Play the music. No problem. I'd played a game earlier myself that night, so I had a shirt and tie on and a ball cap on. I thought I was going to hide up in the press box all night. And the local cable, Rogers Cable, was there to do the game, and the guys that were supposed to come and do it didn't show up. So they said to me, there were two games that night, they said to me, if you can find someone to do the music, you think you could slide down and try the play-by-play? We have nobody in the booth. So, okay. My coach happened to be at that game. I said, here, CDs at the time I played, right? I said, okay, here, can you play the music for me? Yeah, no problem. I said, all right, 2 rules. Don't play the same song twice and don't play the same artist twice. During the game, I heard the same song on pause 4 or 5 times. But anyways, I digress. So that's a major party foul. But so I slid over and did it. And had a great time with it. And I was like, oh, this is fun. And that's
Did you
where it
have any
started.
aspirations to play-by-play announcing prior to that?
I don't know. I was doing some stuff in radio. So I was actually, I started in radio when I was 9 as a character on Halloween night called the Rock and Roll Troll, where I did a Wolfman Jack voice. Can't even do it anymore. But so I always had sort of the bug for radio. My mom had worked at a radio station and got into that. Then doing the PA announcing, was into that. And I don't know if play-by-play was something sort of in it until I slid over and did it, and then was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well,
like,
once you get your foot in the door at a broadcasting facility, you can go in any number of directions.
Yeah.
So you just took advantage of what came along.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm curious, John, about saying to your coach, "Here's the CDs," and then you go over behind the microphone. And now, are there 2 teams that you're somewhat familiar with? No idea.
No
So
idea.
are you reading
were
the
2
names on the back of the sweaters, or are you going 9 over to 7, 7?
They didn't even have names on the sweaters.
Wow.
then.
So
Yeah.
what did you do?
I
How
don't
did you
remember.
approach
No.
it?
I think I had a lineup card.
Wow.
That would have just had the names and numbers.
Wow, good for
and,
you.
And went at it from there.
Because I had a good friend of mine's son played AAA hockey in Whitby, Newmarket, all that area. The hockey, especially AAA hockey, is huge out there, right? So much so that Rogers was putting it on TV on the weekend, eh?
Yeah. It was that one was actually, it's because it was the York Simcoe Express, their first season. And so they were having an opening weekend of a couple of games, and those were the games that they did. But from that, though, every year in Newmarket, there is a house league hockey tournament, largest one in Ontario, I think maybe even the largest one in Canada. And Rogers would do every game of all the tournaments, tape delayed.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't live back then. But I got into doing that. So they said, hey, why don't you do play-by-play at the House League tournament? So to your point as a player, when I say I started at every level and went up.
So as you did it, did you think to yourself, oh, I like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and even that first, every once in a while for fun, I'll pull out that tape of that first game.
Yeah.
And there's little snippets in there just where I'm like, oh, I recognize that. You know, other parts, it's like, 9 to 11. Yeah.
Did you have any mentors or guys who you observed over the years and learned from just from observation?
Well, Dick Irvin, for one, for sure. And, you know, coming to Montreal and then creating a friendship with Dick was something special. And we still stay in touch all the time today, of course. But, I think when you sort of look at you take little bits and pieces of everyone's game and all the things that make it good. Bob Cole and, you know, even Jim Hewson, Chris Cuthbert, Doc Emmerich, even on south of the border. And I think there's sort of, there's little bits I think you can learn along the way. But I always tell, you know, kids nowadays, and this was a lesson I learned young too, don't be an imitator. You have to be yourself, right? And you guys know that, right?
Yeah.
Being in radio and everything. Find your own voice,
Right.
and that's what you have to go with. But I think there's things you can, tips and everything you can pick up along the way.
Is it a craft you can practice, John?
To an extent, yeah.
Did you
I
when you
believe
were
that.
younger?
Absolutely.
How did
I
you
still
do
have a
it?
box of tapes of all the
Yeah.
Junior C games I did, and I do Sunday night hockey, and I'd do the game, and then Monday I'd have the tape in, and I'd have the notepad in front of
Good
me.
for
What did
you.
I do
Wow.
right? What
Yeah.
did I not do? And I think it's a craft you work on as you work up the leagues and develop. And there is an element though where I think there is part of it where it's just. There's a little bit that has to be inherently in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with
You
that.
have it or you don't.
I agree with that 100%. When it comes to broadcasters writ large,
Yeah.
I really believe it's either in there and you can polish it.
Yeah.
It's my theory about Guy Lafleur. Nobody taught Guy Lafleur how to skate. That was in there. People helped him polish it.
Yeah.
People helped him get better. And I believe that's true of broadcasters. You know, you have mentors and people that help you along the way, but it's either in there or it isn't.
Yeah, like an athlete. Right?
Yeah,
there's
agree.
certain things I can't do very well,
Yeah.
math and right. Like, but that's just not in me.
Yeah.
It's not my thing.
Yeah.
Where some people are great at.
So how did you avoid imitating somebody?
You know, when you start and you're young, it's really hard
Yeah.
not to, right? How many of us all got on radio and did the big radio voice? Yeah. 97.7 Show FM.
You're right about
Pumping the
that.
power from the tower every hour, right? Like, yeah. So, you know, I think that part of that comes with experience.
Yeah.
The confidence to, you know, like I said, find your own voice, and that comes with time.
When you moved to become the voice of the Marlies, is that a holy shit kind of moment? Because I know how big the Marlies are.
Yeah.
And you became the voice of the Marlies, correct?
Yeah, so that one, and it had a cool little connection, two connections actually to it. And one of them actually getting hired in the Marlies comes back to Montreal. It's kind of funny. But at that time, moving from the Ontario Hockey League to the American Hockey League, it was the Marlies moving to Toronto, and they were out in St. John's, Newfoundland for 14 years. But the irony of that is before they were in St. John's, they were in Newmarket. And they were the Saints. So as a kid, I was going to the Saints games in my hometown and watching all the American League hockey. And I would sit in the tickets that belonged to John Edlifson, who was the radio broadcaster for the Saints. And I would go up and see him in the press box in the intermission. Wow. So, and then the team moves to St. John's 14 years later. I'm now older and get a chance to come back. So for me, it was also a little connection to the team that I had in my backyard growing up and going to games. And then the funny part about that, John Shannon was the one who hired me, and he was in charge of Leafs TV at MLSC at the time. And John ran into Fred Walker. You guys remember Fred Walker?
Yes, from CBC.
So Fred and I were good friends. Fred was someone I worked with a lot, actually. When I was in the OHL days, we connected.
He's a great
Sent a lot of
sportscaster,
tapes. He
yeah.
was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Fred. And we lost him a couple of years ago, but Fred was amazing. Good, close friend of mine. And he ran into John Shannon in the Costco parking lot once and said, hey, so what are you doing with the Marlies job? Here's the guy I think you need to look at.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And so,
Wow.
yeah. And then, so that's how John got connected with me and then ended up with the Marlies.
So you were the radio voice of the Montreal Canadiens for 2 seasons, three seasons? Three
Yeah,
seasons.
3 on radio, yeah.
Then you go to TV. What are the conscious adjustments you have to make between doing play-by-play on radio versus television?
Visual versus auditory medium. So it's, on radio, you're a little more descriptive because, your audience can't see what's going on. TV, you can let the pictures do a little more.
And I think it's important, too, to let the pictures tell the story, no?
Yeah.
Because some of the greatest calls I've ever seen in any sports, the announcers have let the pictures tell the story. And we talked about this, I think, last year about Tiger Woods sinking that putt in 2005 at the Masters.
Yeah.
And how Vern Lundquist did that.
Yeah. So, the term is laying out, right? And some moments, especially on television, because the picture is there, the sound is there, there's nothing I'm going to say that's better than what's going on.
Yeah.
So let it ride.
Yeah.
Like when a kicker trips on the turf. Sorry, Ted.
I've never seen that before. We're referencing the Giants kicker from
Ted's
Monday
a
Night
big
Football.
Giant.
I know he's a big Giants fan.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, my God.
Not a good year to bring that up.
No.
Yeah.
When is?
Well, you know what? I've seen them win 4 Super Bowls in my lifetime. So
there you go.
I keep falling back on that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
at some point, it's like, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah.
And last night was one of those points.
Yeah.
When you get can you describe the moment? It's a moment where you think, oh wow, oh my God. Like was that the Hockey Night in Canada call? Or was it the call to be the voice of the Canadians? Like, what was the moment where you get in the car and you go, yeah?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely coming to Montreal to do the Canadians, and because that was my first NHL gig.
Yeah.
So I had done my first NHL game. I had done when I was only about 10 or 15 games into my Marlies career, and I got called up and I went to Carolina on the U.S. Thanksgiving and did the Leafs and Hurricanes on radio. I filled in for Dennis Bayak. So I had done one, but I did that game going, I'll be back. Like this is, So, but that was the moment of knowing now you're going to be full time in the NHL and in Montreal
And in radio, we always had program directors who, after we get off the air at 10 and we go into their office and they'd say, you suck, or you might
Like
want
the way you did this, but you could fix this, do that
could we
better,
try and
different.
adjust? Does that exist at Hockey Night in Canada?
it does, I think, to an extent. I mean, we're always kind of looking at what we do.
Yeah.
A lot of times, you know what? I work with some great producers and directors where sometimes it's after the game. And we're just there going, hey, did we like what we did tonight? Oh, that worked out well. Was that, And we're always trying to be creative, something to entertain the fans, right? It's sports and entertainment.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of that sort of comes internally. Once you get to that level, I think a lot of it sort of is we're talking amongst ourselves. There always is a little tweaking you want to do.
When I was a kid, which was a long time ago, you knew there was a game on Wednesday night and there was a game on Saturday night. And then as time moved forward, there were regional games on Saturday night and Ron McLean was there. And then there was a game on, anyway, there's games on all the time now. And I can't keep track of the players. Like, how does it work in terms of, like you were saying, you're in town, but you're not calling the game tonight, but you are calling the game tomorrow night.
Yeah.
So is it a schedule like they schedule referees kind of thing? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, we go all over.
Yeah.
So,
is it Sportsnet, CBC? Like,
so for the national package, Sportsnet, we have Saturday nights and Wednesday nights.
Okay.
So right now, that's sort of the days I'll do a Wednesday game or a Saturday game. So, and then we have our regional packages with the other teams as well. So there are games, but for me, I'm a Wednesday or a Saturday guy.
Okay.
So you're like 36 hours, give or take, away from your next play-by-play. What's your preparation process for the game?
A lot of it, is watching games. It's watching hockey. I'll go to the game tonight and I'll watch that one. And because I have Ottawa coming up on Saturday as well. So you're always watching anyways, but sort of 2-3 weeks out of your game coming up is when you're paying more attention to the teams that are involved. For us, obviously, Canadian teams are watching more because we're doing them all the time. But it might be an opponent you haven't seen in a while, and so you'll want to have a little more time watching
So
them.
really, you're always working. You're never just
You really are.
You're just not.
I know
you're-
people joke, "Oh, you work 3 hours a week."
Yeah,
But
no,
there's so
yeah,
much,
no,
right?
yeah.
Same thing with being on the
Yeah.
air. It's a 1 hour show.
You're
or
never
whatever, but
not thinking
you're
about
never
it,
not
right?
thinking about it.
So
you're
you
never not working.
can you go to a game and enjoy it, John, or do you always look through like a broadcaster's eyes? I guess, eh?
If I'm at a game in person, I can watch the game and enjoy the game, but there's still things I'm seeing in my head.
Yeah.
That it's kind of. I'm not calling the game in my head, but
Yeah.
it's there. You're following what's going on.
I once went in seats to a Habs game with Pierre Hood, and he found it like not hard, but I could see him watching, and I could see the
was
wheels.
working.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
see the wheels turning.
Yeah.
He's watching the play-by-play, and I kept waiting for him to go.
Well, Pierre would
begin
be
to
the
call
same.
it.
Yeah, Pierre's a good buddy, and he'd be the same as
Yeah.
me. Where sometimes if you're getting into a game
Yeah.
and you see the play starting, you might go, "Oh, here they come," because right, or here, "Oh, look out!" Like it just because you see it developing, right? But I don't know if Pierre's like that. I've never asked him this. So I should. I find though sometimes now I can't watch a game down low. Because I don't see the
that's
game
right.
the same
Yeah.
way. I'm
Yeah.
used to being back and seeing it develop. So when you're down low, and I've been doing some stuff with the junior team at home again lately, and I've been down at ice level at the box, and things are going by, and I'm like, I don't know who's going on here. What's going on? What's our next promo? Like, it's just flying by, but I'm like, I got to be up there. That's But I think you just get used to seeing things develop.
Is the Bell Center your favorite place to call a game?
100%.
Does anywhere else come close? Really?
No, the Bell. People always ask me what's the best building. Montreal for the booth is the best view of the ice, and even for a fan in the seat. If you're sitting in a seat anywhere in the Bell Center, it's the best seat in a rink in the NHL.
Really, eh?
Because you're so close to the ice, you're on it. The atmosphere, it's boom, you're there. There are some other buildings I really enjoy going into. I love what they did in Madison Square Garden. I love going to New York. Is one of them. There's some really cool spots that have done a great job with atmosphere. Vegas has been really good. Tampa is a great one. Tampa's a great hockey market. And there's probably a few others, can't think off my head. But the reasoning though for Montreal, it's that view you have. You're on the game, and that's the same reason I think the players feel it as well. It's just the way the building's designed and the atmosphere. I mean, the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Was that not on another level or what? Right.
Tell me about the travel, John.
Well, you hope that you don't have weather delays a lot of times.
So I'm
and
curious about. So you get a schedule way in advance, and
yeah, we're a couple of months out, and then we have travel coordinators, and
the travel's handled, right?
yeah, we tell them
It's
what
like
we
you're
want
not
to do.
online booking flights.
No, we'll look ahead and see what works for us, and say,
Right.
hey, put us on this or whatever,
Right.
and travel around. And yeah, you know what? It's part of the job. I like it.
Yeah.
Some people, I love it.
Yeah.
I love being able to go to other cities and have spots you can go visit, restaurants
Yeah.
you can go hit, and be able to say, hey, you know what's really cool about Columbus, Ohio?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there are a few things,
Yeah.
but if you didn't know that, there is.
Yeah.
So I love that. I've always loved the part of that. That was the hard part during the pandemic when we
Yeah, it
weren't
must have
traveling.
been.
That was whoa.
Do you
don't wanna do
get?
that.
Do you get to when do you go? A day in advance? 2
Day
days?
ahead.
A day ahead.
Yeah.
And that's to make sure that you're able to get
Make
there
sure
on
you're
time.
there for starters. Yeah.
yeah.
You never know with travel, especially in the winter.
And is there a quick turnaround? Do you often find yourself in Tampa and then having to head to Chicago or?
It was a little busier before the schedule sort of changed for us to just have the Wednesdays and Saturdays. So typically on the national schedule, we're not dealing with the back-to-backs the same way. The back-to-backs are the hardest ones to deal with. The regional shows that do that if they're traveling with the team, or when I was used to do that with the Canadians, that was easy because you just hopped on the flight and you were there.
Yeah.
But so not too bad. But there are a few dicey ones where you're like, oh, you always have to have a plan B and then a plan C and D in your pocket, especially when weather's going. If the weather's bad, you have to know.
Must be hard to go from the charter to regular flying, isn't it?
Why?
'Cause the
Come on,
charter
commercial
is
air
like-
travel's fantastic. What are you talking about, Terry?
Because
Living the dream. Another bag of peanuts, please. Yes.
And it's not the plane. It's I see the guys like they drive their car up, they get out of their car, they
So-
walk to the stairs, they get on the plane.
So I
and they're gone.
explain to people it's a lifestyle.
Yeah,
okay,
for
it's
sure.
not a travel. It's not the plane, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You show up at your private terminal.
Yes.
You park your car. You give them your key. You get on the. You walk to the bottom of the plane at the you leave your bag. Somebody puts the bag on. You get on. The food is waiting in the big seats and everything. You have the comfort. You're fed the whole flight. When you land, you get off. You walk down the stairs. There's your bag. You get on a bus that's 10 feet away. It drops you off at the hotel door. You walk in the hotel. There's a table there with the keys, and there's your name for the key, and up you go.
All right, we're done.
So,
Get out.
yeah, exactly. Right. So it's a lifestyle difference.
My
but-
dad gets so mad. My dad's a massive hockey fan. My dad gets so mad when he hears the players talking about being tired because of that lifestyle. Anyway.
It is much different. But you know what? There's also so you're in the team environment.
Yes.
I always used to say when you're traveling, people would ask, what's it like? And I say, hey, when you're on the plane or you're on that's like being in the dressing room.
Yeah.
So there has to be a level of respect. There has to be a level of trust. And when you worked in the American League, you built that with players because you're on the bus with a guy and you'd be having a media guy. I say, what's wrong with Ted Bird there? I know it's his right knee. I was holding his leg on the bus, icing it up. But I don't know. Coach said lower body. I'm not sure. I don't know. Meanwhile, I was like, come here. Let me get the ice bag out for you. So I think you have to earn that sort of trust and respect. But you're in their space.
Yeah.
So you always had to treat it as, there's stories I could tell on the plane. I won't. It's not my business because that's like sitting in the dressing room.
Yeah, I
so,
wouldn't ask.
that's not for my mind to tell.
Now, you've been doing this for a while, so there are players who are young enough to remember you from when they were kids. Do they ever go, hey, it's John Bartlett?
Oh, yeah. God, have I been doing it that long now?
No, but I mean, when did you start with the Habs? 2010, 2011? 2012, maybe.
2010. I think it was 2010 now.
Yeah. So, a guy who's 22 years old now would have been like,
Yeah.
8 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember, I suppose, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, make me feel old if you say that. But still think I'm a young guy. I mean, I know I just had a birthday, but come on.
I think that's cool though.
It is,
that a player, an NHL player might get on a plane and look and go, holy shit, it's John Bartlett.
But there,
I don't know. I guess
there's an
Never thought of
element there, and I was going to ask you this. There's an element of a recognition that is unparalleled with any other medium like television. The recognition factor is through the roof. Do you get recognized a lot, and people want to talk hockey immediately?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I mean, it depends where you are, right? And the markets and everything. So it's great. I don't mind chatting hockey and everything with people. It's they're the viewers. It's part of it.
Yeah.
That's part of giving back. And I wanted to ask you about your foundation because you're giving back through that as well.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. So I started a charitable foundation in Canada, Very Inclusive Playgrounds, VIP Playgrounds Canada. We've had that for a few years now. And the goal is we're working on building an all-inclusive playground. We're partnered with a group in the States called Unlimited Play, and they've done over 100 of these playgrounds through 21 states now. Amazing projects. They go well above any of the ADA standards that you'd have. They're unbelievable. And so we've been working on trying to do a very large one in Canada and bring the first of that unlimited play kind of playground to Canada. So it's been a fun experience, rewarding and very challenging at times, especially when trying to work on getting all corporate sponsorship and everything you need involved to do a multi-million-dollar project like that. But we keep plugging away at it and also advocating at the same time for inclusive playgrounds in
Can you
Canada.
describe what that playground looks like, John?
The particular one I'm trying to build will be the largest in Canada and one of the largest in North America, over 34,000 square feet, all rubber surfacing and ramps all to the highest point. It has a little something for everything, for any kids on any kind of spectrum, for a hearing impaired, for visually impaired.
Fantastic.
Yeah, there's so many elements. I mean, we could do a whole show on that. There's so many elements built into what makes an amazing playground. And when you go and visit some of these, and they have amazing themes to them as well. You can really let your imagination run wild. And one of them in Wentzville, Missouri, outside of St. Louis, Jake's Field of Dreams, is built like a baseball stadium.
Oh, wow.
And the St. Louis Cardinals Stadium.
That's
Jake was a
amazing.
huge Blues and Cardinals fan. Even the zip line rider, which is a chair you can ride in, it goes across they did like a football field.
Amazing.
So with the end zone and the
Wow.
goalposts. So
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then you can zip down.
Is there a website or something where people can?
Yeah,
look into-
VIPplaygrounds.ca is
Okay.
our website
There
for
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
Wanted to ask you about hockey. You grew up a Canadiens fan, I think.
Yep.
Eh?
Yep.
A moment, one of your first moments, where you're standing in front of a legendary player,
Ooh.
and you try not to pee your pants. You know what I mean? Like I remember the first time
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to meet Jean Beliveau.
Yeah.
I think it was the first radiothon. He came to our rescue. And it took me a while to, as I was interviewing him and talking to him, to stop doing this. And wait, sorry, Mr. Beliveau,
Yeah.
do you have a memorable first?
Memorable first.
Was it a Gretzky? Was it a Crosby? Well, where you're standing in front of the player and you have to put that in the back of your head?
Oh man. Trying to think of first. I have I remember doing a few of those stories. I remember meeting Johnny Bauer even before I was doing what a nice guy he was. I'm just trying to think of old players, but for what you're talking about though, I can't remember if it was the Rocket or Jean Beliveau first, but I remember it was in Toronto. And I was underneath outside the room, and it must have been a special night, and the Rocket was there. And it was like, you're walking along, doing your thing, and all of a sudden, whoa,
Yeah.
hold on. And it was, it was like there was a presence.
He had like an aura around
Oh,
him.
yes. And you felt it.
Yeah,
And
you
felt
really
it.
did.
Do you
Yeah.
remember the time he was on the flight back from Chicago with us? When
Yes.
we went down to Chicago
Yeah.
to shoot a TV commercial?
Yeah.
And I'm standing in the aisle to get off the plane, and I turn around, and Rocket Richard is standing right behind me.
Yeah.
So I reached out and I shook his hand, and I said, "It's an honor to meet you." And he blushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Ted Bird.
Ted Bird. Yeah, it's Ted
No, he
Bird.
blushed because
No,
he
I
didn't-
know.
he's just so humble.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another time in the old day, you think you're old, John. I was covering a game at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Yeah. Yeah.
And between periods, we'd go down to the press room and have sandwiches. And I come back up to the press box, and there's someone in my seat, and it's Bobby Orr.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
And he turns around and he looks at me and he goes, "Am I in your seat?" And I said, "Nope, you're
Nope,
Bobby
you're
Orr. It's
Bobby
your
Orr,
seat
you
now."
stay right there. Yeah. Yeah, no kidding.
Did he laugh?
We both laughed.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Wow.
a real gentleman.
You know,
Yeah.
one of the great stories I have that kind of ties to players like that. The last time I saw Guy Lafleur and spoke to Guy Lafleur was at the Bell Center, and I ran into him while I was giving Danny Gallivan's family a tour of the Bell Center.
Oh, wow.
How weird was that? And that was the last
boy.
time he
Wow.
came out the door and we were talking. I said, "Oh, hey, Guy, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. You got a moment? This is Danny Gallivan's family. This is his son and whatever." And I was
Wow.
like, "How crazy is
Yeah.
that?" The Guy walked out of it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was just one of those
Yeah.
times, right? You ran in. I'm
Danny
like, wow.
Gallivan, that to me is
That's the guy.
He's
Yeah.
the guy. That's the. I think it's by and large it's the voice of your childhood,
Yeah.
right? Like when I was a teenager, Danny and Dick were on every Saturday night, and just the sound of his voice gave me chills. We were lucky enough to have Danny Gallivan on the air one morning, and I didn't stop talking about it for weeks. It's funny how as Canadians, like, you know, when you think of like Robert Redford and, you know, stars of that, you know, George Clooney, and those are the people that make people shake and shudder. Canadians shake and shudder for Rocket Richard and Danny Gallivan and, you know, people of that ilk. I guess because it's part of our culture.
Yeah, big time.
Absolutely, it's ingrained in us, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's you spend Saturday nights watching hockey, and especially as you were talking about earlier, back in that day where not every game was on, so it was even a bigger deal when you would see it, right? Yeah.
Do you ever get accused of being a homer, John?
No, he doesn't. Who doesn't,
It's
right?
kind of par for the course.
But
if
you know
you're a
what? We
play-by-play
always
guy.
say it's like if every team has a problem with you, you're doing it right. Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
No, I not that much.
No.
Really, I don't. Honestly, I don't. Like, I don't want to sit here and go, oh
No, because I don't hear it. I read about it, and people say, there was a whole thing going around in the last couple of weeks about Jim Nantz and
Tony Romo?
Tony Romo, how they're Kansas City fans, which was such a load of
yeah.
shit.
Well, you're not doing the same teams every night.
No,
though, so
I don't.
And
you know what? The other thing too is like I'm not rooting for or against your team, or I'm just
you're doing your job.
I'm doing the job.
Yeah.
I'm just calling the game.
Yeah.
The game will be the story, and I'll tell the story of what's going on in front of us. So,
Do you sit or stand when you call a game?
sit.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a sitter.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It feels like I just like sort of getting into the cockpit and all right, let's go.
Yeah.
In that way. And then the intermission, it's like, oh, I got to stand now and walk around, stretch it out and everything. But yeah, I used to stand in junior.
Yeah.
Just part of that was the building setup, or if I sat, I couldn't see the ice. So that was a problem.
Because every time I saw a picture of Danny Gallivan, he was holding the mic, number one.
Well, yeah,
kind of leaning over.
And leaning over at the forum, which was a long drop from that press box.
Yeah. So, the one game it was funny. The Canadians years ago, this one I was doing radio, played a preseason game in Quebec City at the Colisée. And they were playing Carolina. And we were set up a little further down this table and area. And it was like, oh, this is going to be awkward to see. But beside me was an open area cage where a spotlight would have went. And so I thought, you know what? This would be great. And I gave it a boot a few times to make sure it was locked and I wasn't going to go falling over the edge. And I said, the heck with the notes and everything in the line. And I just literally over the railing, the whole preseason game, over the old school. And Chuck Caton was there at the end. He said, oh, Johnny, sometimes it's good to remember that's all we need to do the game, names and numbers, right? I said, yeah, you're right, Chuck. And I leaned over there in that old building and that old vibe. And it was like, it was just a fun night. I literally was just one arm over the railing giving her.
Yeah.
I'm like,
should have been wearing a fedora.
Yeah,
It's a tribute to the old guys.
Yeah.
We have to say hi to a couple of more sponsors before we wrap up here, Ted. And it starts with our good... Sorry, John, we don't mean to be rude.
Pay the bills. Pay the bills.
Our good friends at the Mersons. I told our good buddy Matt Kundle, who just moved here from Manitoba. He was here with all-season radials. And
that doesn't work.
That doesn't work.
No.
Ça marche pas, Matt.
No.
So I told him to call Kara at Merson, and Kara set him up with a brand new set of Yokohama tires, gave him an appointment. So the deadline has passed for winter tires. It's December the 1st. That the deadline, or you have to have your snow tires on by December the 1st. So the Mersons are still putting them on. You can get an appointment there to get your winter tires on if you're late to the game. And even if you're not, you can bring your car there and get it looked at, tuned up, oil changed, store your summer tires. The services they offer are really incredible, and they've been offering those services to Montrealers for well over 50 years now at the same location. And when you bring your car in for installation of tires, they take a quick peek. Like when I took my car in to get my winter tires on in October, they told me in the spring, not now, but in the spring, I was going to have to get my back brakes done. They're a great family. 487-5545, just past the corner of St. Jacques and Cavendish. It's Merson for your car.
We also have an electrical company, John, that sponsors the podcast called Accutech, and Terry thinks he's come up with a pretty good slogan for them.
Oh, yes?
Accutech. We know what this wire's for.
We know what the purple one does.
We always say, don't open the fuse box and try and do your own thing.
Yeah.
That's really important that you don't do that. Have you heard from Trish at all, Ted?
We're going to see them at the Toy Tea on Friday at the club.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. The folks at Accutech have been a family-run business since 1995 when Tom's dad started it, and now they do almost everything. They can look after your generator. They can install what you need for a generator. Generators are becoming more important. I know up where I live in the Laurentians, there's almost no family without a generator because it becomes important in if you live in the country and there are a lot of trees around, you get a lot of outages, you need a generator. And the folks at Accutech will tell you how to get a Generac generator, which is like the top of the end generator, and they know what to do and how to deal with Generac. And they can also take care of a fuse box that was installed in 1947. And I always say this, if the lights go out when you put toast in, it's time to call the people at Accutech. If you've got a new business and you want to redo the lighting, they can do that. If you want to redo the lighting in your house, they can do that too. Accutech, ACUTECH.ca.
I posted on our social media last night. John Bartlett from Hockey Night in Canada is going to be on the podcast tomorrow. Anything you want us to ask him?
Yes.
And my favorite question I got was, who makes your suits?
Who makes my suits?
Do you wear bespoke suits, John Bartlett?
No, you know what? They're made here in Montreal. Yeah, they're Jack Victor suits.
Oh,
yeah.
That's top of the line. That is.
Absolutely.
Jack
they're great.
Victor.
Yeah,
Wow.
no, they're made here in Montreal.
Yeah.
And we have
And
a
are
great...
they made to measure?
They are.
Look at you.
We have a great wardrobe person, Deb Berman at Sportsnet, and I get together with her, and all the Jack Victor patches get laid out in front, and we pick the patterns, and we have a. It's fun. That's
That
always
is
a fun
so
time of
cool.
year.
Yeah,
when you
no doubt.
Go through and pick
No
out the
doubt.
patterns.
So how
and
many
everything.
how many do you get to pick?
Well, we do a couple a year, but my collection now it's awful. It's like, I don't want to say how many I actually have, but it's a couple of years, so they keep on. Eventually, you have to retire them and or find a good home for them, which is great when I can. But yeah, Jack Victor suits. Right
Hard to buy an off the rack suit after you've had a bespoke suit done. Either, especially Jack. I've got one Jack Victor suit.
Yeah.
And they're the shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they are. They're
That's Jack
awesome.
Victor. We're the shit.
Yeah, that's not their slogan, but they're the top of
shade
the
of brown
line.
you're
We're not
wearing.
slogan writers.
I thought this was a good question, John. Is there a camaraderie between fellow play-by-play people across the NHL?
Yes, yeah, there is actually, and a lot of us will stay in touch, or we'll. Part of the morning skate is we'll catch up with each other. So for the most part, I would say there is, and then. As in with other teams, right?
Yeah.
Or when you go, okay, yeah. So there is. We're always catching up, and it's good to. It depends how often you see everyone too. So which is always nice when you.
How long does it take you to wind down? I always think of that when I'm leaving a hockey game. After you've been at the Bell Center, even as a fan, and you're watching, and you take the Metro home, and you get home.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to lie down and go to bed right away.
No.
How long does it? Is it like? Are you like a? It's kind of like a performance.
Yeah, it is. It's much like doing the podcast, right? Ted can hardly have his afternoon nap today now because
Oh, yeah, watch me.
I'm not worried about that.
I might have it on the way home. If traffic stops on the Met, I'm out.
You're right. It is like a performance. So especially, I think if the game or the show is even ramped up more, there are some nights where it's like you're still buzzing for a while trying to come down off the energy level, because you're up there at this high level for a couple of hours, and if the game is more, everything is more ramped up as you get further in the year and playoff games and everything. It's like you're kind of wired, and even in the playoffs, you have to sort of plan your day a little differently, because on a regular season game, it's only going to go 5 minutes more maybe, and then over.
Yeah.
But in the playoffs, it's okay. This could go till you never know. You can't just go in the afternoon. I'll be done by 10 o'clock. This might be a 3 a.m. You never know when.
I used to referee hockey, and I'll confess, I refereed for a very long time, and I refereed almost to the junior level. And I remember, people have asked me about it before. I remember as an official, if the game was tied in the playoffs, and you're very excited, but as an official, towards the end of the third period, you're thinking to yourself, please don't tie this. Please don't tie this. I want to go home. Please don't tie this. Not that it affects your decision or anything, but in the back of your head, you're thinking, Christ, if it goes in over there overtime, I'm going to kill myself. I would imagine that doesn't happen as a broadcaster because it's so exciting.
No. I love a good game, close game. I love an overtime.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like, I'll be honest, I don't like the shootout.
Yeah.
I think.
Do you like 3-on-3?
I do. I think that's entertaining, right?
Yeah.
So I'm in the camp of I would love to see overtime extended further as opposed to going to the shootout. The shootout to me some nights becomes so anticlimactic.
Yeah.
After you can have a run and gun overtime and back and forth 2-on-1, and then You know,
3-on-3. It's not going to take that long before somebody buries one.
No. Like I would love to. I know there's, you got to figure out the ice and the timing of the players and how much more they have to play and yada yada. I know that, but there's some nights where the overtime's really going and then shootout. You know, it's kind of You'd rather see that continue.
I'm a non-traditionalist in that I think the rink is getting too small because the players are getting too big. Thoughts?
And fast.
I think it's the speed. I think it's not. The game's changed a little where I don't know if it's as big as it used to be, but it certainly is a lot faster.
It sure is.
So everything happens a lot quicker out there. That's sometimes when people are like, "Oh, why did that guy do this?" or "Why was that called?" Like, it's moving quick. Things are happening. Boom out there.
And you could see it too when sometimes you'll see on YouTube. The Bruins Habs from 1978, and you watch a few minutes and go, Jesus, Murphy.
Yeah, but you know what it is?
Wow.
Watch, even if you go back and watch the 93 year, and you watch that cup year, and you think how great that team was, and that run, and you go, holy cow, this seems a little slower.
Yeah.
But watch how many passes are made on a breakout to get up the ice, right? And what you're talking about in the 70s and everything. It's D to D, D to the winger across. You're making 3 passes before you're at the red line as you move up ice.
Yeah.
Now everything is one chip and go, get it over the red line, get it in deep, bang, and everything. So, chip and chase kind of thing. It's everything happens so much quicker. You don't have those breakout pass to breakout pass the same way as you used to. Yeah.
Challenging as a play-by-play guy, I guess, because it moves quick.
It moves quick. And you know what? As you guys know, it's live TV.
Yeah.
It happens. You don't get a review. Oh, story. Okay. All right. Excuse me, Nick Suzuki. I need you back over there. Lane over there. Okay. All right. Let's redo it. Take 2. All right. Go. Right. So, it doesn't happen. And mistakes happen.
Have you had a memorable either technical glitch or I know it happens rarely, like where the lights go out or something over the course of the years that you've been doing this?
I'm sure there has been a few things along the way. We try to cover them up when they do for the sake of the viewer because, I mean, some of this stuff I remember because we have such a big crew. When something goes wrong, there's can be 5 other people trying to work to fix it. But I do remember... you know what? I got a story. Okay, all right. This happened twice. Here we go. This is when Ted and I were together. We had a game in San Jose one night when I was doing the radio here in Montreal, and we couldn't get the ISDN lines to work. So I literally picked up the phone and I called back to the studio. I said, "Can you hear me fine?" "Yeah, pot me up."
Right? So you called it on the phone?
Pot me up. Called it on the phone.
Wow.
And so I'm doing I think Bobby Dallas did that game with me because Bobby's like, "What do I do?" I'm like, "I don't know. I'll pass you the phone. Like, right now, let's just get the game started. I'll figure." And I had gone through this in the American League where I was on my own. I was my own engineer, equipment guy, and everything. So, and I had to do this. This is where, kids, lesson for you out here. This is why you work up the different levels because you're going to learn things at a lower level that one day you're going to need at a higher level. And you go, "Wait a minute, I learned how to do that." And in the American League, I went down one night and had to call the game on a phone, and so that's why I thought quickly to do it. So anyways, I did the game, first period on the phone, got to the intermission. They couldn't get the line working, and I said to the technician that was there in San Jose, I said, "Do you have a phone coupler?" "Yeah." "Put the board in the phone coupler. We're going the rest of the game like this." Because we wanted to be on air, and the other station wasn't on air. So we go through, we get the whole game done, and here's the best part of the story. Remember, it's in San Jose, 10:30 at night. So afterwards, I'm like, "I can't believe we had a technical problem." I'm sending an email and everything. Wayne Bugh's program. "Wayne, I can't believe this was wrong. We got to get this fixed, blah, blah, blah." Wayne says the next morning, "You're on the phone all night?" "I couldn't tell. I was lying in bed and had the game on the clock alarm radio beside it. It sounded the same to me." And I'm like, "Oh, come on." Like the whole night we're on a phone couple. You couldn't tell. But anyway, yeah.
But we
didn't miss a second of the game.
That's the advantage of experience. And that's the advantage of a guy. Like in radio, you got to think on your feet.
Yes.
Because everything can happen in the blink of an eye and you have to be thinking on your feet.
Yeah.
You mentioned Bobby Dallas. How many color commentators have you worked with over the years, and who are your favorites?
Yeah, so it's funny, because John Garrett is famous for having a list of how many play-by-play guys he's worked with in his career. And I think he's worked with 48 different play-by-play guys. Yeah, and I'm one of them. So when we last did a game, we were talking about that. I said, I should put a list together out of curiosity. I was trying to rack my brain. And I don't remember. I think I've worked with about 17 or 18 different color guys. And some of them have just been those were the regular partners. Some have been unique circumstances. Wednesday night's game with the Winnipeg, I'll have Colby Armstrong with me.
Oh, wow.
Colby's got to fill in. And that's going to be the second time I've worked with Colby. Same reason he had to fill in once when we were in Buffalo on a Saturday night and drive from Pittsburgh to meet me there. So I've had a few that have been fill-ins, and then regulars I've had along the way. So I think it's about 17 or 18 I've had. A lot of former players. So Bobby and Sergio Momesso here, of course, in Montreal and radio. We did a lot.
Murray Wilson, did you work with Murray?
No, I didn't work with Murray. Knuckles and I did a couple of games together on radio. Gord Dwyer and I did a game when the Canadians were out in, was it Halifax or somewhere, I think? A preseason one year we were out there. So a couple on radio. And then, on just through TV, the whole bunch. Gary Galley and I are usually together a lot, or Greg Millen. Millsy and I did a lot of games together. Jason York, John Garrett, Craig Simpson. Yeah, I had to put the list because you had to really think about over the year. I'm like, and then you have those one-offs where you're like, oh, right, I forgot so-and-so was with me or whatever. Yeah. So.
John, do you have players have a pregame routine? It used to fascinate me. You'd read about, some of the guys, Gordie Howe and all those guys, they would have like a mid-afternoon nap and a steak at 4 o'clock or a plate of pasta, whatever. How do you arrange your day? Do you have dinner before the game? Do you wait until after the game?
Yeah.
Do you eat on a full? Do you work on a full stomach or?
It all depends on the meal in the media room, to be honest with you.
Okay, got it.
There's some cities that are really good dinners. You're like, I'm going to eat there tonight. And others, I'm like, I'll have the big lunch. So there's, you know what? There is a routine, game day routine, much like a player. Yeah. And again, it goes back to traveling. There's certain lunch spots you really have everywhere too that you like to go to. So, but yeah, the afternoon is kind of, you get all the prep you want to have ready. And then, there usually is a little, I used to have bigger nap windows than I do now. I don't know why, I just do. But there always is a little, if it's not a nap, it's a little downtime. I kind of find it like, okay, that's the reset moment to just sort of everything you've compiled in the day. Now you want to put together in order and just get ready. And Bob Cole was famous for having his, I think it was the 2 to 4 p.m. window. Couldn't call him. Couldn't.
Really,
that was that was his window of grab the nap, or he was just going over the lineup card. And
what time do you get to the building?
Usually a couple hours before the game. So around a 7 o'clock game, 5 o'clock or so. Yeah. Wow. And then and then we go through. We'll have our viewing of our elements before the game, which usually is around an hour 15 before puck drop. We're in the booth testing all the headsets. We go through all the graphics and roll-in packs we have so we know what's coming.
I could keep you all day, and I'm just going to ask one more thing because it popped into my head.
That's all right.
When you're doing a television game, do you know what's coming? Like, how do I describe this? When something happens on the ice and I'm at home going, shit, show me the replay. Show me the replay.
Yeah.
Like, do you know it's coming because they're saying in your ear, okay, we're going to show you this?
Yeah, the producers in here, not necessarily in my ear as much with that.
Sorry, that's a decision that happens like that, right?
Yeah, the producers are, they're on the ball. They're watching the game. They're talking to the replay crew in the back, so they know what angle. Replay guy might jump in from the back and be, hey, we've got a great look at this one on, camera 4 or whatever. Okay, so stand by. We're going to give you the close-up on 4 and the one. A lot of that talk will be with my analyst. Yeah. They're talking more during the game because he might jump on and back it up and give me that play at the blue line there because, something happened. And so I'll sometimes get this is what's coming up, but that's also my lane where I'm going. And I know when the whistle's going, I know they're taking it anyways. So tell me what you got. Right? I don't always hear everything of what they go, but you always get the, or I'll get the, promo next whistle, or if it's an icing, we're doing the push squeeze back and all that kind of stuff.
Do you have a nickname? Because I know in hockey, everything ends with a Y.
Yeah.
Like,
are you Bartsy?
Bartsy?
No. Sometimes, the nickname I got, really riveting, is Barts. And then, sometimes you can twist it up and I get Bartsy. Yeah. Hey, Bartsy boy, what's going on?
That's part of hockey culture. Everything has a Y on the end of it, eh?
Yeah.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
John, this has been great. Thank you.
It's been a blast.
Yeah, I really, really appreciate you taking the time, especially when you're working. It was nice of you to get your ass over here in traffic. I really, really appreciate it.
No,
Thank
this
you.
has been
Very
great. And you know
generous.
what? I'll get a chance to say you guys are doing fantastic with this. I follow
thank
you
you.
all the time.
Oh,
I think
nice.
I think it's a great part in Montreal to have a local podcast
Thank
that has
you.
the flavor of the city. I still follow everything that goes on in the city all the time. I'm always reading the news and everything to know what's going on. So, and every time I'm here, I'm always out somewhere visiting friends or hanging out and all over the place, West Island and everything. So it's fantastic. But yeah,
Fantastic.
this has been
That's
great.
really
I know we
nice.
wanted to do it for a while, but
Yeah.
you guys are doing great with the show, and it's fun to keep up with. So.
Thank you, John. That's very kind. That's a
Yeah.
nice compliment. I appreciate that. As we go out the door, as we always do, don't forget terryandtedpodcast.com. That's where you can find the episodes, and you can also leave us a note there. As I said at the beginning of the podcast, we do read all the mail, and we answer most of the mail. And we appreciate the input. We really do. You can subscribe to the Standing By YouTube channel. That helps a lot. If you go to YouTube, Standing By the Podcast, you can go to the website. We have a link there. There's a crawler that goes across the website. You click on that. It takes you right to the YouTube channel. And we appreciate it because I know this ain't Joe Rogan numbers, but we're up over 500 subscribers. So that's not bad for the little tiny local podcast. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram and X if you want. We have tens and tens of views on our Twitter accounts. I don't know what happened. Ted and I, we had all kinds of followers and all kinds of views, and now it's...
Well, they changed after Elon bought it. Everything changed. The algorithm changed.
Yeah, anyway, you can find us on Facebook, Standing By Podcast, Instagram, same thing. And if you leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, apparently that helps a lot. Our thanks to our producer, Amano, and our thanks to our sponsors and our executive producer, Jessica Dion. And thanks to you for loading the podcast this week. We appreciate that a lot. We know there's thousands and thousands and thousands of podcasts, and the fact that you download Standing By means a lot to us. See you next week.
Standing By. The Terry and Ted podcast is hosted by Terry DeMonte and Ted Bird and is brought to you by the UPS Store Canada. The executive producer of Standing By is Jessica Dion.